if I can get everybody to begin by measuring with your ruler. We're going to divide your page, and if you remember, we're going to do some measuring. We're going to measure the page halfway down, and we talked about measurement last time. You're going to find 4 1/4. 4 1/4. You're going to make a little tick mark. You're going to move your ruler over. You're going to do 4 1/4. Make a little tick mark, and then line your ruler up. You should be working on the horizontal. Please do not work on the vertical. Remember that the horizontal is where you're working long and narrow. All right, not in a portrait mode. So I'm going to give everybody a minute to work with that. And I'd like you to go ahead again and very lightly label the horizon line. And then the other thing that I would like for you to do is to take and measure your space. And remember that the page is 11 inches long. Your space and my space are exactly the same. And I want you to measure at 5 1/2 and make a little dot that becomes the vanishing point. So I'm going to give everybody a minute. If you remember where we left off last time, one of the things we talked about was taking a box and making that box three-dimensional. And we always started with what? What did we start with on the box?
Square.
We started with the square. We started with the front, right? So what we're going to do is we are going to build a cityscape on this piece of paper. And as we build this cityscape, what we're going to do is a city is basically a series of boxes. So we're going to start by building some boxes. So the first thing I want you to do is over, and I'm not going to give you an amount, just over somewhere on the right-hand side of your page, I want you to draw a 6-inch by 2-inch rectangle that comes above and below the horizon line. 6-inch by 2-inch, somewhere above and below the horizon line. So yours should look somewhat like mine. And you can also take and you can erase, and this is why I told you to work lightly, erase the horizon line inside your box, okay? Inside your box. So I'm going to give you a minute to do that.
Hey, fam.
6-inch by 2-inch. 6-inch by 2-inch. And that's just because I want you to have a long, narrow box. Line up our ruler between the vanishing point and the corner that is closest to the vanishing point, and we're going to go back in space to that vanishing point. And go ahead and draw that orthogonal line all the way back. Do the same thing from the top corner all the way back. Now, somebody tell me, why do I not want to go here? Because then it would be going through and we would be creating a transparent box, right? And we're not creating a transparent box. We're creating something that is solid. All right. Now, at this moment, this box is going back in space over the horizon line, and it's going to come back and hit itself, right? So what we want to do is we want to take and give a definitive edge to our building. What kind of line am I going to use to give that definitive edge? And I want to hear from some of you others. Okay, I don't want to hear from the same 3 people all the time. You all should know this. Trevor, what kind of line am I going to use?
No, I didn't hear what you said.
What kind of line am I going to use to make the edge of the building or the edge of the box?
Straight line.
A straight line, but remember it's a specific kind of line.
Mine
What kind of line? What kind of line?
Parallel.
A parallel line. Remember, a parallel line is one that never crosses.
Oh, that.
So somewhere,
I thought you were saying the one on the front.
yeah, no.
So,
So we're making it parallel to this line, okay? And I'm going to take and highlight that line to remind us that we're doing parallel to this, okay? So I'd like you to take, and you can pick however wide you want that, but you're going to take and draw your line. And remember, a parallel line never ever crosses that other line. So they never cross each other. So if I take and I show, now I've taken, and I'm going to highlight this parallel line too. These two lines are side by side. And if we were to extend them, they would never ever cross. That now becomes our first building. Let me see. Exact same thing, except this time there's not going to be an alleyway in between. And I'm just going to take and I'm going to draw another parallel line. But I want this building to be a little bit shorter than the second building. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to take and I'm going to move my orthogonal line down a little bit. And I'm going to draw from the vanishing point, and I'm just going to take and make that a little bit shorter. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to erase all those rest of those orthogonals. So that now what I have is three buildings. I have this first building, I have this second building, and then I have a little building that's right up against that one. Okay? Give everybody a second to get there, and then we're going to start adding doors, windows, sidewalks, and start to make this into a full-fledged city. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
Are you going to get to your city?
Yeah, you are. You are. Once we kind of get through some of the basics.